Great job. Great job. Here's what's crazy is at some point we're going to look back and say, man, we just got 13 wins, franchise record. Detroit Lions never done this before in the history of this franchise. We're going to be able to look back and say that. But not yet. Not yet. Because you know what we got to do next week? We got to win, man. We got to win. But you know what we said? Play Detroit Lions football. We did that and get the W. You guys did that. And we may roll it all the way down the table just like this. You find a way to win the game. And we found a way to win the game. We lean on each other and we use all parts. All right? That's a good job, man. I got one game ball. I don't even know the stats. Critical. Great job, yes, St. Brown. No, it's you. Here we go.
Let's keep going, man. Like you said, let's keep going. Love y'all.
Good. Man, everything we got goes into San Fran. Everything we got, man. Great win.
Yo, the lies so that you never make it. Hopeless, so it seems. Eyes closed, canvas open wide to embrace your dreams. Sometimes you gotta take a loss just to get the win. Like license sin was popping in like oxygen when boxes wet. Focus on the mental, never lose like a smooth instrumental. Better choose on the move in a pinto. Choose when I get to, never lose, smooth on the move, but it's simple. Never give up and we running it, maybe. We just keep winning, we conquering daily. Envision that pay me, it's never this way. Me indigenous, maybe we winning this crazy. Your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity. This your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity. This your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity. This your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity.
Yeah. Welcome one, welcome all, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome one, welcome all, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Lion Villain Squad Facebook page. Welcome to the Lions Villain Report. I am your host, Russell Wayne, in the house. Messing with my volume here a little bit right there. Yes, we are broadcasting live into the Lions Villain Squad Facebook page and the YouTube page right there at Lions Villain Squad. Thank you everybody for popping on here today. We're live on Roku. Thank you to Bill the Packer fan. Thank you to Mike the Bear fan for allowing us to be on the Roku Huddle Sports Network right there. And we're on our own Facebook page right there where we just got ourselves over 60,000 villains right there. And we got Leon Phelps taking us all the way to 70,000 right there. So you acknowledge the villain, you go over to Facebook, you go over to YouTube, and you hit the subscribe button, or you hit the follow button right there, and you too can have a Lions party over at your house with a couple lady friends and a nice warm bottle of Gavakier is from your Detroit Lion fan right here, Leon Phelps. Thank you very much. Hey, if you want to partner with the villain, if you want to be guilty by association, get a hold of my partner in crime. I'm going to bring him on. I am. It is my partner in crime, Main Event Mike, right here at 810-620-2167. That's 810-620-2167. You can find out how you can be guilty by association. If you own a business, you live in Michigan, you are a Lion fan like we are, and you want to be guilty by association, just get a hold of Main Event Mike. It's faith, family, and football on this program. We use football. We use football to spend time with our family, create memories. We don't let football use us. And we're going to talk about this victory today. Mike. A victory. Victory Monday. Welcome to the program, Mike.
Say hello to my little friend.
Good morning, Russ. Good morning, villains. Glad to be here.
I want to say hello to everybody up in the chat. Let's say hello to everybody. We got Henry Gray up in the house.
You like that?
We got Davey. We got we would say what the usual suspects, right, Mike? The usual suspects up in the house. We got FTP Pred. FTP SP Fred right there up in the house.
You like that?
Jay Smooth getting ready for a Packer game tonight, hoping they can stay on track right there.
You like that?
Lock themselves up a playoff spot. That's what they're trying to do. Jared Goff.
It's my quarterback.
Jared Goff.
It's my quarterback.
Jared Goff.
It's my quarterback.
Yep, that's my quarterback right there. Good morning to John. Good morning to Bear Down Mike. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Look at that. That's how you do it right there, Mike. They show up. You show up when your team loses. That's how you show me you're a fan. You run your mouth and then you're gone. And it's like, that's not even fun. I can't even call you an asshole if you don't show up, you know? But kudos to you, Bear Down Mike, for showing down after the beat down. Sarah, Merry Christmas, Russ, Mike, and everyone else. You're feeling pretty good, aren't you, Sarah? Sitting up on top of Viking Mountain right now. Oh, like with her hair blowing in the wind and shit. Nah. Oh. Skull. I can't say nothing bad about the Minnesota Vikings. We heading for a showdown, Sarah. I think you're gonna beat the Pack. I want the smoke. I want that game to be for the number 1 seed. And if you choke it up, that's fine. But you got the Packers this week, the Lions but I want it to be for the 1 seed. I want it to be for all the marbles right there. And that way you have experience. Either way, you win or lose that game, Sarah, going into the playoffs, that helps both teams. Because it's not the Super Bowl, but that's a lot on the line right there. If that ends up being a 1 seed and the division championship, woo, it's a good battle here in the NFC North, baby.
I agree, Russ. 14-2 teams in the last week of the season to decide that, not only to decide the division, but to decide the number 1 seed in the conference. Oh, please make that happen, football gods.
I'm looking at that.
Listen to this, Russ, real quick before you get into that. Let's say that does happen. The team that loses that game will drop all the way to the 5th seed.
Yeah.
So a lot, and they'll have to play a playoff game on the road. Imagine being a 14-win team having to play on the road in the playoffs in your first division round. Crazy.
That is nuts when you really think about that. You're dropping all the way down to the 5th seed, and the other team, the team that wins, doesn't even have to play a game. Like,
right? Crazy. That is just a crazy.
You got to go on the road, or you get a bye.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I know.
That's
it's mind blowing.
Crazy. All great. Andy in the house right there. We got everybody that we hit up right there, Mike. So I had that was I loved the locker room celebration right there. I love looking at that because you want to see where their mentality is. Some of those locker room celebrations were pretty long, you know, like you're going through, you're trying to get this big win. That was 1 minute and 23 seconds. We ain't celebrating shit right now. These guys are locked in. These guys are focused. And Mike, why don't you tell them about it? What happened in this damn game?
Oh, yeah. Let's take a look at the tail of the tape here. Your box scores from the game. 34-17. The Lions double up the Bears. 34-17. The Detroit Lions have won 13 games this season. Said no one ever. First time in franchise history they win 13 games, and they do it on the road in Soldier Field against the Bears, and they win 34-17. Jared Goff, a passer rating of 137. Very, very respectable. He was 23 of 32, 336 yards, and 3 touchdowns. That's an incredible stat line on the road for a quarterback who can't play in the cold.
It's my quarterback.
Jahmyr Gibbs, the every down, 3 down back, the experiment. This was the first game we were going to see how it turned out with 20-plus touches on the ground for Jahmyr Gibbs. Could he handle the load? I say he handled the load. 23 carries, 109 yards. He also had 45 receiving yards. He had an average of 4.7 yards per carry. but they were hard yards. They were grinding it out yards. It wasn't like his previous stat lines where he'd bust off a 30-yarder or something. His longest run was only 12 yards. So he grinded out that 109 yards. Great job by Jahmyr Gibbs. I think they're going to lean on Craig Reynolds and Jamar Jefferson a little bit more as they move forward, possibly, because we did see Jahmyr Gibbs have some trouble in the short yardage situations at the goal line, getting stuffed. And I think we need a little bit more of a battering ram. Come on, Craig. Craig Reynolds, 4 catches, 18 yards with a nice, respectable 4.5-yard average. And Jamar Jefferson, a Brad Holmes draft pick, who we may have written off a long time ago. 3 carries, 13 yards, a really nice 4.3-yard average for Jamar Jefferson in his first action in the field in Detroit in over a year. Total rushing yards, the Lions were able to run the ball on the Bears, 146 total rushing yards. Receiving, it was another JMO day. 5 catches, 143 yards, and a touchdown, including an 82-yarder beauty over the top. Just what Brad Holmes envisioned when he drafted him 12th overall. Getting behind the defense, no one able to catch him. And Jared Goff actually threw a pass in stride for JMO, and you see what happened. It goes for 6 points. Amon-Ra St. Brown gets a game ball. You see there that he was about to try to hand it to JMO. He actually called it out to Dan Campbell. JMO? No, me? Oh, me? Because Amon-Ra St. Brown, just a pedestrian day, 6 catches, 70 yards, and a touchdown. Just a normal day at the office. Sam Laporta, 4 catches, 43 yards, and a touchdown. So many weapons. Just hard to stop. On defense, the Lions got the job done. Brian Branch, 12 tackles. Nice to have Ife Melifonwu back into the lineup. And he went back and played some safety. However, if you do look at the touchdown pass to Keenan Allen, I think Ife was a liability there. Had Brian Branch been playing or Kirby Joseph, it wasn't in the game for that play. Either one of those guys are there, that might have been a different result. But Ife looked a little slow, if you will, on the back end. But Brian Branch able to come up and play nickel slot corner, play close to the line of scrimmage. He led the team in tackles with 12 tackles. And the defense produced 2 sacks on Caleb Williams. Not great, not going to set the world on fire, but they harassed him all day, flushed him out of the pocket all day. So good job by the defense, I think. And to bear down Mike's point, congrats to you. Kudos to you, Mike, for being here today to take a little medicine. Your Bears, to your point, I believe you do have a quarterback. Caleb Williams, yeah, he's not perfect, but man, he's efficient, keeps his eyes downfield, moves around in the pocket. I think you get that offensive line fixed. You get a few things fixed on defense. You get some good coaching in here. And I agree with you, Mike. You have your quarterback of the future. It appears that way now. We'll see if the Bears ruin him like they have other quarterbacks in the past. But right now, everything looks on track for that. Lions, able to run the ball, like I said, 146 yards. But they also held the Bears to 59 yards total rushing. It's a pattern we've seen all year. It's the formula to win for this team. Run the ball and stop the run. Probably every team around the league, that's a formula. But for this Lions team, that's been the formula. Run the ball, stop the run. Keenan Allen, the number 1 receiver on this team, supposedly. DJ Moore is supposed to be the number 1 wide receiver, but they called him on television yesterday. They called him the number 1 on the team. If I was DJ Moore, I'd be slightly disrespected by that. But Keenan Allen did live up to it. 9 catches, 141 yards, and a touchdown. And we've seen this in almost every game this year. The number 1 wide receiver on the opposing team blows out his prop bet on the over. And Keenan Allen did that as well. Rome Odunze, 4 catches, went over his over on his prop bet with 77 yards. Their defense was only able to produce 1 sack on Jared Goff. Then the team stats, some big ones here. Detroit, 475 yards of total offense to 382 for Chicago. A big stat here, 3rd down efficiency. The Bears could not get off the field on 3rd down. Kudos to Aaron Glenn and the defense. Held the Bears to 2 of 10 on 3rd down, which caused them to go for it 4 times on 4th down, where they were 3 of 4. Lions, on the other hand, very efficient, 7 of 12 on 3rd down. And kudos to Dan Campbell for kicking a field goal. The Lions were 0 for 1 on 4th down. There was one there in the early second quarter where Jake Bates hit a field goal, and it was only 4th and 2 from like the 20-something. I'm like, oh, he's going for this. blew everyone's mind and kicked the field goal. Kudos to you, Dan Campbell. Turnovers, whoever wins the turnover battle usually wins this game. Lions produced 2 turnovers on the Bears, while the Lions had zero turnovers. Biggest play of the game, as Andy Reid would say, the old stumble-rooski, stumble-a-rooski.
I'm not saying that.
Jameer Gibbs and Jared Goff pretend to fall down. The entire Lions sideline screams, ball, 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 meaning there's a fumble on the ground. The Bears linebacker bites on that fake, thinking there's a ball on the ground, and he slips off of Sam Laporta, gets behind the defense for a touchdown. An epic play that will be replayed over and over in the annals of Detroit Lions history. A big point that no one's talking about this morning, Russ, something that I dug up here for you that's really good. I can't wait for tomorrow for PFF Tuesday for the Villain Report. I want to see Christian Mahogany's PFF grade in his first NFL start, filling in for Kevin Zeitler at guard. He did a stellar job. I was watching him all game. He was holding his own up there. Kudos to the kid. 13 wins, like I said, and a franchise record for the Detroit Lions, scoring 475 points in the season with 2 games remaining. And that is the tale of the tape.
The tale of the tape. And thank you, Mike, for promoting the PFF Tuesday. Let me see if I got one of those on here. Do I got that? No, that's the hump day one. Oh, yeah, okay. I got one on here. The PFF Tuesday right here. And you know what? I am going to give you a bonus nugget, Mike. You're not going to have to wait till Tuesday because the grades are out. Now, let me explain to everybody why I wait. Because there's a lot of people out there, myself included, that doesn't think that PFF is the end-all be-all. It's not going to tell you the entire story of the game. So what I like to do, and what I like to tell everybody else to do, is I watch the game. I get emotional in the game, and then I go back and I rewatch the game. And then I watch the replays of the game. And then when I get to PFF Tuesday, that's when I'm usually looking at the scores. So I look to see if those scores line up with the stuff that I saw with my own eyeballs. So that's what we're doing right there when we do PFF Tuesdays, because I want 24 hours. I want to digest this game. I want to see it with my eyes first, and then I want to see the scores. And then I want to see if the scores back up what my eyes were seeing. But Christian Mahogany, in his very first game, 65 snaps, had a 70.6 overall offensive grade, a 82.5 pass blocking grade, and a 70.4 run blocking grade. That was an outstanding game for his.
Can you read those? Those are Mahogany scores. Can you read them one more time? I'm sorry.
He had a 70.6 overall for his offensive grade. His pass blocking grade was 82.5, and his run blocking grade was 70.4.
That's so awesome for a rookie in his first start on the road. Pressure pack game. Yep. Got to keep pace with the Vikings. I love that. I love it.
And I love
another gem from Brad Holmes. It looks
like. I took a sneak peek, and I didn't really want to do that, but it is going to be a fun one tomorrow. And a lot of the guys that you love being in the front, the best ones on that list, those offensive linemen. You know, that's what makes the thing go around. That's why Ben Johnson's going to get a lot of head coaching job offers. It is. Ben Johnson is amazing. But when you have offensive linemen that can just make everything that you call work, you know, you're moving people out. Wow, that run play, wow, Ben Johnson really called that halfback dive. That was a great play call. No, Frank Ragnow and Kevin Zeitler bum rushed 2 people and moved them out of the way, and a running back ran through that hole. So I'm not saying Ben Johnson isn't a great coordinator. I think he is. He's going to go and be a head coach somewhere. I think he's fantastic. But a lot of that credit has to go to that offensive line, just making the shit work. 82.5 on the pass blocking grade. Jared Goff sat back there. I was like, whatever I want to do. You know what? I think I'm going to do some yoga in the backfield. take some time, stretch the arms out a little bit, maybe sip some lemonade, maybe call my buddy, check my prop bets. Oh, I got to complete a pass. There you go. Completion. I'm on Ross St. Brown. No, good pass protection. I love it when we can give props to the big men, because the Lions punked out them Bears. With all of the crap talking that's been on here throughout the years. I mean, we're done with it now. I think that the smack talking, it isn't over, but it's like, we know what these guys are now, Mike. We know who's fighting for a real spot right here. And it's not even like the games matter, but it's more like I'm positioning myself. I want to see if I can win some games here without showing too much of my playoff hand.
Playoffs?
Yeah, we're talking about playoffs here in the Detroit area. It's a good time to be a Lions fan. It really is. I dig it.
I think maybe the best takeaway from this game, no one limped off the field. No one was carted off the field. The Lions seem to come out of this game without a major injury for the first time this year. And I think that's huge.
Jay-Z says that Mahogany was moving dudes.
We're going to bite a kneecap off.
That's what it's all about. And Gun Guy says, Broski Bear, take your pants off. Broski Bear, it's time for your feeding. Joseph says that PFF grades don't pass the eye test often. I don't think that it's often. I think the outliers are like, well, wait a minute, I thought he played better than that. There's always a couple of them, but for the most part, I think the scores back it up. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm going to, I keep looking at it. What do you think, Mike? Do you think that it's often, or do you think that it's more of an outlier?
I think that if you don't think it passed the eye test, then you're looking at it the wrong way. It's not a performance grade, or it's the things that don't show up in the box score. And I think that I get what he's saying. They don't pass the eye test. Like, you see a guy get beat on a block, and then you go and look at PFF. He's got a good score, right? But there are so many things that go into the score. It's not just play by play. What did he do on this play? It's the position that he was in. Even when the play was away from him, what did he do? And they get graded in that way. Remember, we broke this down last year about how PFF actually grades. We dove into it and all that. Maybe we should do that again sometime before the year ends, or
yeah. There you go.
But yeah, I mean, I get what he's saying there, but you and I came to terms a long time ago that PFF is not something. It's not a Bible, right? It's not the gospel. So, yeah, it's a good call out, though.
Yeah, and that's, like I said, that's why I wait 24 hours. I like PFF because, I mean, you show me a model that's out there that's grading offensive and defensive linemen that are in the middle that can kind of gauge that, then I'll try it out. I mean, honestly, but I mean,
it's all there is.
PFF is all there is for offensive defensive linemen, and those are my favorite players. So maybe it's just me being selfish, because I got to go with that PFF, Mike. And I love the salary cap stuff too. I always have that on speed dial. But I mean, in this case right here, where we were talking about Mahogany, you were like, wow, it looked like he played really good. So I looked that up, and there it is. There's one case where the eye test met up with what the PFF grade said. I mean, he looked like he was moving dudes, and like there was he looks like a real dude, Mike. Like, that might be the best offensive lineman that he's drafted, not named Penei Sewell. Brookings ain't showing up today. All right, I think that's a Broski one. Dan was 3-3 versus Chicago through the Fields era. Now he's 2-0 during the Caleb era, 5-3 overall. I don't want to like make excuses for that first year when we were 3-13-1, but there's a lot of guys that aren't on this team anymore that were part of that team. You know, when you're building a team from scratch, and yeah, the Lions lost a lot of games that first year. And we did still get one against Minnesota. We did get that one out of the 3. But when it comes to 2022, 2023, 2024, when Dan Campbell actually started getting some talent, you know, started putting some players into those schemes, I think it's a different story. We got swept that first year by Fields, didn't we? We got beat both times in 2021 by Chicago. And this just is not the same team. So that might be a little bit too much kudos to give to Fields. But Fields did seem to play us better, didn't he? Carted off the field, maybe not on your team. Braxton is out for the rest of the year. Yeah, you hate seeing that. I hate seeing injuries.
Yeah, he was one of your best offensive linemen. And that is tough.
Yeah, that's one that we really liked on here. And actually, Bear Down Mike and I have had a talk about how good Braxton could be, because we liked him coming out of the draft. We thought he was going to be a second-round pick, but still, I mean, you get offensive linemen. You know, you got to protect Justin Fields, or you got to protect Caleb Williams. Oh, I mean, Mitch Trubisky. Gosh. They can't seem to get one in there. Sorry about that.
Oh, I mean, Patrick Mahomes. Oh, that's right. You didn't draft
him. Dwayne, prayers for Hurts. Hope he's not out long. Yeah, they did lose that game, but, you know, everyone's probably saying the same thing that I would be saying. It's like, would they have lost the game if Jalen Hurts was still the quarterback at the end of the game? That's a damn good Philadelphia team.
Well, it's concussion, by the way, and he was taking interviews after the game, so I fully expect he'll be back next week to thrash Dallas.
Yeah, and even if he isn't, you ain't getting the 1 seed now, because you just knocked yourself out of that. So don't worry about that. Even if it takes an extra week to get, you know, Jalen Hurts, maybe they do rest him for the week, and if he doesn't clear the concussion protocol, most case you're not going to see more than 2 weeks for that, and you are where you're at.
And Dallas beat a good Tampa Bay team last night. Maybe Dallas can pull the upset against Philly and help the Lions a little bit more to secure that number 1, or even the Vikings to secure that number 1. But boy, if we have to play the Vikings in Ford Field for the division and for the number 1 seed in week 18, the drama is going to be palpable for that game. And it's going to be a shame for either one of those teams if one of them has to lose the game. And it's going to be a real shame for one of those teams to have to drop down to the 5th seed. What would happen if that game ended in a tie? It would go to the tiebreaker and the Lions would win it based on NFC opponents. The Rams beat the Vikings and the Lions beat the Rams. So there, if you were wondering, if that game ends in a tie, the Lions would still be the number 1 seed and win the division. And that would be even more painful for Sam Darnold and the Vikings to not lose the game and still drop down to the 5th seed.
But it's like, but look who's in the way. There couldn't be any better drama in the NFC North for these last 2 weeks. You know, you got. Yeah, we'll see what the Packers do tonight. I mean, barring an epic disaster, they're probably going to beat the New Orleans Saints tonight, and then they're going to be locked into the playoffs. And then next week, they get to go and play spoiler to a Minnesota Viking team who kind of beat their ass earlier, and then you got to go through that, and then you get to play us. And then the Lions got to go out to the West Coast. And they got to go and try and get some revenge against the San Francisco 49ers, who I just have a feeling aren't going to lay down for us. And then you got to go play the Vikings. It doesn't get any better than that. You know, the Lions don't have a historic franchise of, like, everything that you hear Packer fans talking about all the time. We don't have anything like that. So we're living it. And then you have the Minnesota Vikings. The Minnesota Vikings, they won more NFC North titles than anybody. Just won't go away. They won't go away. And after last week's win, I didn't even, like this week, I didn't even care. I didn't put any emotional stock into Seattle winning that game. I came to grips last week. And when it was like, okay, the only way that these guys are going to go down is if we put them down. And I'm coming to the grips to that. And I'm there with Dan Campbell. I'm there with him when he says, hey, I love this. I love the competition. I love the competition. I want to, they live for this. I don't want to see the Minnesota Vikings stumble or the Lions stumble and the game before it. I want it on the line. I want it on the line now. It would be a shame if both teams don't win next week. And they don't, because this doesn't happen all the time in any division. This is epic. Yeah, you may be looking at the NFC Championship too, because this is going to be the 1 and the 2 seed. Or no, wait, it can't be the 1 and the 2 seed. It would be the 1 and the having to go through the 2 seed, which you're better than all the other teams. So you're going to be the uncrowned 2 seed. And you're probably going to meet in the NFC Championship. That would be awesome, wouldn't it? To meet that third time in the NFC Championship, no matter who wins. Got to win a road game and then go play a game at home. And then
I thought it was going to happen last year, boy. If Jordan Love could have pulled out that game in San Francisco and they would have had to come to Ford Field for the title game, I firmly believe that the Detroit Lions would have made it to the Super Bowl had they played in Ford Field in that title game, no matter who they would have played, even with that softer defense than we have now.
So here we go. Here's Dan Campbell from last night after the game, and we're going to react to it. And every time I listen to Dan Campbell, it gets me fired up because there's just no nonsense in that. And I wanted to bet, I let him go for a little bit right there. So I kind of wanted to react to what we've heard so far. Now, he talked about the Stumblerooski. I want to talk a little bit about that. I want you to walk me through your thoughts of the Stumblerooski-roo.
You like that?
Yeah, I love this call that's in the comments from one of the villains that this was a copycat of a Green Bay play against Chicago where Jordan Love actually fumbled the ball, recovered it, and then threw a touchdown to the tight end. And Ben, in his gigantic brain, says, hey, Jared, do you think you could do this on purpose? And then Dan says, well, it started with like dribbling the ball or something. But executed
had enough
perfectly.
of that shit.
These are the kind of things when you talk about thinking outside the box. This is way outside the box. What's next, right? Fake an injury to get a touchdown. I don't know, but I love it, and I'm not going to criticize it. Kudos, Ben Johnson. We have the most creative play caller in the NFL. Move over Kyle Shanahan. Move over Sean McVay. The most creative call players right here in Detroit.
There were so many moving parts on that. When I was watching it, I was just like, I got a brand new 65-inch TV that came in the mail a little bit early for my Christmas present, and I got to watch. And I'm just watching this play unfold. Jahmyr Gibbs falls down and does a little, barrel roll over there looking like he's diving at a fumble. And that's crazy to me. And then if you miss the very end of it, he jumps right out of that spot and then lays a block. Jumps right up from that spot, lays a block, and then he throws that dart laser beam right there. I mean, who draws up a play like that? Like, I've seen it work before. Back in 1971, in this one game, he's going back to like high school games and pulling out all these like backyard football deals, and they're out executing them. It's one thing for him to be like, yeah, fake a fumble and then throw a touchdown, right?
Yeah,
it's like
right. Guys pretending to fall down is not new. Okay, that's been going on for a long time where like the tight end acts like the defensive end blocked the crap out of him and then he just leaks out.
Sure.
That's old. Falling down is not new. But pretending to fumble the ball and the whole sideline and everyone on the team yelling fumble, ball, fumble.
Hey.
Everybody in sync, everybody vested in what's happening on the field. That's cohesion. That's the power of attraction. All of the minds thinking alike. This is why prayers work, folks. This is why karma works, folks. This is because a collective consciousness, all human beings, we can tap into this, and we're seeing it on a football field. It's incredible.
Yeah. It's amazing to me. And here's the thing: is like there's I was gonna make a point about movies, right? There's a lot more bad movies and a lot more bad actors than there are good actors and actresses. So these guys are out there. So this isn't, I know it's not new, but we got Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio in the backfield, and they're laying down some performances that should get some Oscar nominations or some shit like that. So yeah, it's the first time. It ain't the first time we've seen it, but it's been the first time in a long time that we've seen it done that well. Fooled me. Oh no! Oh, what? Oh, touchdown! Yeah! Oh no!
And the Oscar for Best Actor in a Fake Fumble goes to Jared Goff.
Jared Goff.
It's my quarterback.
I love this call from Roy Bradow in the comments who says, you see one of the linebackers doing exactly the same thing he did in the Packer game. That's such a great call out, Roy. I mean, maybe they were looking at the tape and Ben Johnson, light bulb went on over his head and said, look what this linebacker does when they fumble the ball. Look at his reaction. Laporta's going to be wide open if we do that. So just creative. That's what it's about, man. Creativity.
Okay, so the other thing that he talked about on there was Jameson Williams. I mean, and I saw the whole thing on the sideline. He gave him a little shove out of bounds that they got away with, and Jameson got up and reacted to it. And like they say, it's always the second guy that is going to get the penalty, and that's probably what Dan Campbell said to him on something to that nature on the sideline, told him to calm down, and he went right back out there. How did you think of Jameson and how he handled it, how Dan Campbell handled that whole situation?
Well, we couldn't hear what JMO said. And somebody in the comments saying that he didn't say anything. That's not true. We saw that as he was getting up, he barked at Tyreek Stevenson. He said something. And the official was right there. And he threw the flag as JMO walked by him because he didn't hear or see what Tyreek did. He only saw the reaction from Jameson. And I mean, for it to be verbal and to get the flag, he had to say something pretty horrendous to get a flag there, I would think. But I have to give kudos to the officiating crew in a way, because the same thing happened later where they were trying to bait Craig Reynolds, where the guy just kept punching him or hitting him. And Craig said something and they threw the flag. And I said, oh, boy, Craig got baited into it, too. But no, the other official came over and said, we called it on the first guy, and the Bears got the penalty on that one. So kudos to them. I thought it was a pretty well officiated game. If you look at the penalties, the Bears had 10 penalties for 70 yards, but they were all legit. Lions, 7 penalties for 55 yards. And I thought that they let the DBs and the wide receivers play it out. I mean, there were no, egregious pass interference calls that weren't called. And kudos to Terrion Arnold, who played a great game yesterday. He was right there like he's been all year, but now he's getting his head around those things that we knew he was going to fix. He's big. He's strong. When he goes to high point the ball, he's higher than the receiver, and he's getting his head around now to avoid the penalty. Kudos.
You like that?
We may be a real stud in the making. A true CP1.
And that's what you're seeing with a lot of teams like that. And they got a guy over in Minnesota right now named Dallas Turner that's starting to make his rookie to where these guys aren't rookies no more. I mean, we're going into week 17 right here. They've played their first season. These guys they're who they're going to be, I think. Especially with a guy like Terrion. I think he's going to get better, but he's got it now. Oh, okay. The NFL, we're fast. Yeah, I got it. Got it.
The game is slowing down for him. Whereas Christian Mahogany, even though he's a rookie, it's his first game, maybe not so much.
Yeah, well, I mean, maybe he got it slowed down in practice. But let's listen. We got another 6 minutes on here. I don't know how much longer. I'm gonna finish this and react to it. I don't know.
I'm gonna jump off before Dan gets started. Have a great day, everyone. Don't forget, it's the Main Event Football Show tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on this very network. I hope everyone is there. Follow me at Main Event Mike on all social medias. Have a great day, Russell.
And there it is, Main Event Mike. Main Event Mike's going to go into more detail on this tonight. And he's always got something up his sleeve that's a little out of the norm. But right there. But I know that we're going to be talking about this victory. Well, he'll probably pull me on to talk a little bit about the Monday Night Football game with the Packers. And we're going to see what's going to go on there. But here's Dan Campbell. We'll go a little bit further into this.
And it just doesn't get any better than this. This is what it's all about. And so, can it get frustrating? Can it get stressful? Yeah, it gets all those, but it's also, it's the drug. It's the drug. This is what you live for. And look, some can't handle this. It's too much for them. Players, coaches, teams, it's just too much, but not our group. This is the good stuff, man, and we're in the middle of it right now.
Before you go, Gibbs, you leaned on him heavy early. He had a big game. Just, thoughts on the way that he played and carrying the load that he did.
Yeah, I thought he did a good job. I did. I didn't think that we missed a beat with him just taking on a little bit more of those. I thought Jefferson and Craig stepped in and were solid in the roles that we had for them. Both of those guys made critical plays, and so I thought it was good. And look, that was somewhat his first taste of really taking on more of the load, and so that's good. That's step one, and it was good. Good exposure. Yep.
There it is. That's our coach. Well, we might get into some Jared Goff tomorrow. They're probably going to do some other interviews before tomorrow. But that's Coach Campbell talking about this win. We're talking about victories. It's Victory Monday for the Detroit Lions. Lions win 34-17. In the Zone podcast is up in the house. They also got a victory. Dan Campbell talking about that right there. We want the smoke. Bring it. You're going to Ford Field. We're going to do it for everything in the Zone, and that's the way it should be. We ain't underestimating you guys. Win or lose, you go into the playoffs, right? I would hate to see either one of these teams stumble going into the game, because you don't get a chance like this very often. Let's take the Michigan-Ohio State rivalry. That's a fun rivalry, right? Every year they play, and if Michigan sucks, they want to play spoiler, and they did. And if Ohio State sucks, they always want to play Michigan spoiler. But every once in a while, the smoke lines up. You got 1 versus 2. You got a chance at, doing a Ali Foreman in the Zoe podcast. Are you sure? Am I sure? What? Do I want to win a championship on the undercard, or do I want to be in the main event of WrestleMania and do it in front of the world? Win or lose, being part of something like that is just phenomenal, you know? I hated losing in the NFC Championship, but I got to be, you know, invested into that game. You ain't invested into football like you are when your team is in there. You know, when your team's eliminated, you're like, oh, wow, I love football. But no, in the Zoe, we want this. You want this too. You want it. Imagine that. How big is that in the Zoe? You know, 1 seed on the line. Division title on the line. The winner gets a bye. Losers got to go on the road as a 14-2 or a 14-3 team. Woo! Give me the smoke. Because here's the thing. I can live with the other side of it. Let's say you win. Let's say you win. I love my team on the road. Honestly, that's the way Dan Campbell would spin it too. We got to go and do it the hard way. It's all the grit. Here we go. All the grit. I'm going to do it the hard way. I'm going to go on the road. Let's go. Hey, we're in the tournament. We're in the tournament. One of 14 teams that have a chance to win the Super Bowl. Y'all better think about the 49ers. That's what I'm talking about here in the Zoe. Y'all better worry about the Green Bay Packers. That's what I'm talking about. It would be a damn shame to see the Vikings or the Lions stumble the week before you could set this up. It's not like any other way. I mean, if the Lions lose and they're a game behind and then they could go into the game, it still means the same if the Lions lose. They're still going to be playing for the 1 seed against you. Either way. Yeah, at 13-2. If we go to 13-3, we own all the tiebreakers over the 3 teams. So even if the Lions lose going into week 18, they're still playing for the NFC title. They're still playing for the number 1 seed and the NFC North title. Either way. Because even a tiebreaker with you guys and a sweep would give the Lions. So the Lions have a free game here. Oh, thank you, by the way, to Philadelphia. I appreciate you. Appreciate you losing a NFC game and making the San Francisco kind of a, yeah, it's over. 49ers can play. 49ers can play spoiler. And I expect them to come in fired up, you know? I expect them to be fired up. You know what I'm saying? So I'm excited about it. I'm excited about the last 2 weeks. I'm excited to go into San Francisco and get some revenge. There's a lot of bad taste in the mouth for that game. This is a revenge game. I expect the Lions to be very up for this 49ers game. And we're going to get into that when we do our full preview on Thursday. But you have been watching the Lion Villain Report with your boy Russell Wayne up in the house, and that's what we do here Monday through Saturday at 10 a.m. We're doing a Week 16 review. Lions punked up, Bears. Acknowledge the villain on YouTube. Acknowledge the villain on Facebook.
Acknowledge
The villain. That's right. Henry says we're not looking past Frisco. No, I don't think we're looking past Frisco. We certainly are not looking past Frisco. But make sure that you jump on here tonight. Main Event Mike's going to be in the house. Main Event Football Show every Monday at 7 p.m. You can check it out. Yeah. If you haven't subscribed to the YouTube page, you can do so at Lions Villain Squad. Daily content. You want to partner with the villain? If you want to be like NFL Shop right here, get your NFL Shop swag right there by using the villain link right there. You can save up to 25% off of your order from our affiliate marketing partner at NFL Swag. NFL Shop. NFL Swag Shop. Yep. If you want to be guilty by association, partner with the Villain Squad. Get a hold of Main Event Mike, 810-620-2167. Find out how you can be guilty by association. Tomorrow is PFF Tuesday. We're going to go over all the nerdy scores. Hopefully you'll join us right there. And we have 60,000 followers right here. Leon Phelps here. You can have a good time watching some football games, especially when you have a couple lady friends over with a warm bottle of Cavaquier, and they get all excited when the Lions are winning. If I'm going to be totally honest with you, and we was watching, going to be watching the Green Bay Packers play tonight, and I'm still wondering, what is a Packer exactly? Oh, hell yeah! Give me a hell yeah! Dan Campbell 316 says I just whipped your ass. If Christopher Walken was here, he'd be looking at you and he'd say, the Lions Villain Report, you should watch it. It happens in the mornings at 10 a.m. They talk about football. It's good for you. It's good for your life. NFL on Huddle, the Huddle Sports Network on Roku. Thank you, Bill, the Packer fan, and Mike, the Bear fan, for allowing me to stream it on your network. It's the Lion Villain Report. I'm your host, Russell Wayne. I'm going to take off out of here. It's faith, family, and then football in that order. We use football to spend time with our family and make memories. We don't let football use us. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. May the Lord shine his face upon you until we meet again. In Jesus' name, amen. God bless you guys. Thanks for stopping by. We'll see you tonight for the Main Event Football Show. Peace out.
Yo, the lies so that you never make it. Hopeless, so it seems. Eyes closed, canvas open wide to embrace your dreams. Sometimes you gotta take a loss just to get the win. Like lots of sin was popping in like oxygen when boxes wet.
Focus on the mental, never lose like a smooth instrumental. Better choose on the move in a pinto. Choose when I get to, never lose smooth on the move, but it's simple.
Never give up and we running it, maybe. We just keep winning, we conquering daily. Envision that pay me is never the sway me. Indigenous, maybe we winning this crazy. Your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity.